And the 2022 NWSL champions are the Portland Thorns.
And the crowd goes wild.
Again.
The crowd really did go wild because there was a lot of Thorns fans at Audi Field.
Yeah, you could hear them.
They were loud. They were representing. How's it going, everyone? Sara back. And we're going to, I sometimes say this, this will probably be a pretty short video overall, hopefully. The game just finished about an hour ago. We just wanted to talk a little bit about the game. It was, it was an exciting game. It wasn't the best game ever, but it was exciting. And, championship games are always so much fun to watch,
So intense.
Exactly. And first and foremost, it was on CBS, not CBS Sports, not Paramount Plus. It was on CBS broadcast.
Prime time. 7:30 our time.
And
8:30 Pacific time.
And that's major. I mean, I don't think it's the first time it's ever been prime time. It's first time. Usually it's like at 11 in the morning, things like that.
Weird.
So first time it was prime time. So that was really cool. And it's really cool. Maybe someone stumbled across it that maybe wouldn't have otherwise watched it and said, hey, I'm going to watch this.
Exactly.
But maybe someone stumbled across it and said, so that was pretty cool. So that was kind of the setup. Audi Field, going into the game. As many people know, Sara and I wanted the Current to win. And someone actually left a comment on our video last time saying, hey, don't, because we kind of talked about it's kind of hard to root for the organization, the owner who is still making money off these players, who's not a good guy. So it's hard to root for the team. But someone made a point saying, don't punish the players, still root for them. And I actually do. I really like a lot of their players. Bella Bixby actually came out with a post saying, this is when they need their fans more than ever.
Right, exactly.
And that totally makes sense. I think Sara and I just also like the fact that, a team that's never been there.
We like the underdog.
Yes, I like the underdog. I like the team that's never been there.
The newbies.
I like the team that was in last place. So I think that was kind of like the storyline that we just were rooting for the Current. You know what I mean? We like the Thorns players. I mean,
I love their players. They've got a lot of them. They've got a great team.
They got so many legends on the team. Becky.
Yeah, they have so many people rooting for them, so they don't need us rooting for them.
Oh,
too.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Kidding. They do have a lot of fans. And the fans definitely there were to support them because they were loud. But the game, within the first minute, there was already a free kick for Portland Thorns. I think Haley Mace had the foul, and it was already a free kick.
Yeah, I blinked, and then it happened.
Within a minute. And unfortunately, that kind of set up the tone for the whole game, I feel like.
Yeah.
The Current never felt like they were on the attack. It felt like the whole game they were trying to not get scored on. And that's kind of set up the whole game where at any moment, I actually felt like the game could have blown up and had been 10-1. But, I digress. Right. But fourth minute in, Sophia Smith scores.
Sophia Smith goal. She's unstoppable.
A mistake from the defensive Current Elizabeth Ball. She misplayed a ball. It went by her. It shouldn't have. And Sophia Smith capitalized on it. And you cannot make a mistake around Sophia Smith.
Mm-hmm. That's danger.
And did you see her celebration? The shrug.
Yeah.
And then actually, it looked like Morgan Weaver put her hands on her shoulders, like as a friendly, jokey thing, and then it looked like Sophia Smith was shrugging those off.
It was a can't touch this.
Yeah,
sort of moment,
But fourth minute in, and again, that just kind of set the tone where you're already one point down. And that was kind of the tone of the game for me. You know what I mean? It always felt like Current was
trying to catch up
the whole game. But there was a lot of back and forth. It was a pretty fast moving game, I will say. There was a lot of chaos where Current was just trying to make something happen. There was a lot of fast moving parts.
Like the Thorns were just, their defense
they had an answer for everything. Doesn't matter what Current threw at them. They had also, a lot of people mentioned it looked as though the Current looked nervous. They looked intimidated. They didn't look like they went out there saying we're gonna win. Thorns, on the other hand, kind of, that kind of swag that you have as people who have been there before.
Yeah, they're used to being champions. So.
Exactly, and people picked up on the nervousness of the Current team, and I'm sure the Thorns picked up on that.
Right.
Then in the 26th minute, Sophia almost scores again. And as we know, at the end of the match, she was player of the match or MVP. And some people thought at some point she was overrated, and people were like, nope, she's not overrated at all. She's appropriately rated.
Yes, I agree.
Almost scored 26. CZ Kaiser kind of got stepped on at some point. And then in the first half of the game, the Thorns were just wearing out the current. They were running them around the field, and at some point Haley Mace looked very gassed. She looked out of steam toward the end of the first half. And the commentators commented about it and just said she looked gassed out. She just looked overly tired.
Yeah, that's not a time that you want to be that. Unfortunately,
Portland wore them down. Also, this ref, I didn't think this ref was horrible, but this ref wasn't calling a lot of things either. There was a couple on both sides where they could have been fouls, and we're going to get to another call in a second, but there was a lot of calls that could have been calls that they just didn't call. But at the end of the first half, it was 1-0 Portland, and the Current were looking a little bit frazzled. But halftime, they can come back, sir. They can come back.
I know. I was staying pretty positive. I was like, hey, it's only 1-0. You can still catch up from that.
Right. Going into the second half, the commentators kind of noted disorganization. There was a lot of disorganization by the defense. There was on the Current side, just a lot of disorganization. They looked rattled. As the Current confidence left, the Portland confidence got higher.
Yes, definitely grew.
So at that point, I thought the writing was kind of on the wall in regards to it wasn't looking good for the Current. Then in the 56th minute, there was another Portland goal. Technically an own goal, but it pretty much was set up by Yasmin Ryan. And another mistake, though. The commentator said that was another mistake by the Current. So 2 big mistakes, 2 goals for the Portland. And it wasn't just the Current messing up, it was Portland pressing, and that initial shot by Yasmin Ryan was spot on, really good. That's just the way the cookie crumbled. Then something kind of interesting happened in the 61st minute. It was Kristen Hamilton, and I don't know the other player, but the ball went out, and it should have been a corner kick. And they did a replay, not VAR obviously, but a replay on the TV, and it was obvious that should have been a corner kick for Kansas City. The ref didn't call it, and Kristen Hamilton was pissed.
Oh, she was livid.
And everyone could read her mouth.
What the F, ref?
Yeah, and it was clear. And obviously refs get calls wrong all the time. Sometimes they get them wrong. But it was like, I felt like Kansas City couldn't even get a break in that instance.
Yeah, I really felt like that.
But my favorite was Kristen Hamilton was like all rightfully so very upset, and then she goes up to the ref and she goes, I know, like, because she didn't want to get a card or anything. But I felt bad at that point. I was kind of felt like we're not winning. Kansas City isn't winning.
I know.
Then Crystal Dunn comes in. So were we going to see another Crystal Dunn goal like we did last week?
Almost. She shot on goal, but she did not make it.
At the end of the day, Portland commentators talked about they were smothering the Current tonight. Their game plan was just too tough. They came in to win. And a lot of people, some of the commentators were talking about, it was predictable from Kansas City. What Kansas City was putting out there was very predictable. They just outplayed them. Long and short, Portland Thorns outplayed them. They went out there like champs. Like they were already champs. They were. And 2 big mistakes by Current, and that was it. And 2-0, and that was it. Congrats to the Portland Thorns. I haven't seen any celebrations. We're kind of recording this right after the game, so I saw, Current. They were completely gutted at the end. There was the camera people were on them, and I forget who said no, I don't want the camera on me.
Kristen Edmonds.
And then somebody went to go talk to AD Franch, and AD was just like, no, I don't want to talk.
Yeah. I mean,
of course, they're gutted,
Yeah, I'd be so upset.
I would too. You get so close and then lose, but they were really upset. I saw Labonta. She was crying. Her eyes looked like she had been crying. I'm sure they all were crying.
Right, yeah.
But gutted for them. But it was a fair match. And then I was on Twitter tonight too, and a lot of people, like even like casual fans, were checking it out. So, but who watched the game? Whose team did your team win? Like I said, as much as we weren't rooting for Portland, I'm happy for them.
Yeah, we're happy they won.
It's happy to see them excited too. Hey, it's Sarah. I'm just editing the video, and I wanted to mention that when we recorded this video, I did not see the Thorns medal medal presentation, but I did watch some of it after we recorded the video, and I did want to mention how seeing the players some of the players get emotional. I especially saw Megan Klingenberg. I saw her get very emotional and crying, and she overcome with the emotion. And I know she had such a tough year. Her dad passed away a few months ago, and that must have been so hard. And when you have big moments like this and your parent just passed away recently, must be so hard. And also, I remember Bella Bixby, her father passed away, and I had read that Christine Sinclair's one of her parents, I'm not exactly sure, one of her parents passed away, and that's extra emotional not to have your loved ones with you. But I did want to mention it because it was very special. It's emotional, but for her getting her emotions, she was overcome. I just want to mention that because I'm so happy for her and all the Thorns, to have that moment. But I did want to mention that. I also read this from Stephen Goff, who is a soccer insider. He said,
Kansas City's Adriana French getting called into his squad for Germany friendlies, taking Aubrey Kingsbury's place. The roster expected soon.
So if this report is correct, then AD Franch, she's going to get rewarded for playing so great in the last couple months and overall in the NWSL season. Because remember, she played at the Olympics. And then after the Olympics, she was kind of, I don't know if dropped from the squad is a good term, but they went with another keeper. But she's been playing so well that she's getting, if this is true, she's getting another chance.
Yeah, hope so. Love to see it.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Being rewarded for playing well. I mean, that's the best feeling,
Of course.
But we will see what happens. Did your team win? Okay, questions, comments down below. We'll talk to everyone later. Have a great night.
Bye. Ooh, bye.